Lennon Stella, welcome to Q.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Nice to see you again. And it's nice to see you.
you.
Last time we talked, we were in my studio in Toronto,
Yeah.
but now we're in Nashville.
We're in Nashville.
Is this home or is this a home away from home?
This feels like home, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah. In a way, like, when I go back to Canada, that feels like my home away from home, only, like, just because I've been in the States since I was 9. So I'm still, like, very proud Canadian. Like, it's, like, forever going to be in me. But I definitely, like, Nashville, East Nashville, like, where I live, like, that, it does feel like home for sure.
There's a lot of Canadians here. Like, we're in Steve Dawson's
Yeah.
studio right now, which is a Canadian studio in Nashville.
Yeah.
I feel like you must run into Canadians
There's
here
a
all
lot
the
of
time.
Canadians. The girl who did my hair today is Canadian. Yeah, there's lots of Canadians here.
So last time we talked, you were excited and a little bit nervous
Okay.
about stepping into the more pop music sphere. How did it go? I mean, it went really well, but how did it go
going
for you?
well.
How did it go personally?
Great. I mean, everything. I don't know that I've released. I guess I've released a couple things, like 2 more songs since I talked with you last. Honestly, I'm just very excited for the album to be in the world. I think the album is like, there's just a lot more freedom when it's not like singles and there's not as many people involved, and it can just be like an album full of like more creative things. You can just get more experimental just when you have so many songs to put into a project. So I'm like most excited to have that out, and then I'll feel like very zen.
But was it, I mean, last time we talked, you were like, well, yeah, I think people are going to dig it. I think people like me on the show about country music, but I think people are really going to dig it. Like, how did
Totally.
how did you feel when you were on tour?
The tour was amazing. It was so great. Obviously, like that's like a very far stretch. Like Chainsmokers and Five Sauce are like way further and in a totally different direction. Even Five Sauce is like different than Chainsmokers, and then I'm in a completely different space. So that was cool because it was really diverse, and I feel like we all just like played our own role in that tour. But just with my music in general, I feel like people feel it and respond to it in the way that I would hope that they would.
It's different being an opening act, hey? 'Cause I think you
Very
spent
different.
so much of your life being sort of a leading act, being
Totally.
the person who people are coming to see, right? And they're excited about the Lennon Stella show, and then you have to come out and look at the 5 Seconds of Summer crowd,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Five Sauces. I just learned they're called.
Five Sauce?
Thank you
Five
very
Seconds.
much.
Is that what either one?
I didn't know about that, but I feel incredibly hip now.
Yeah, it's so cool,
And we're
so
going to
cool.
edit this so that I sound
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
Just the first time you ever said it.
Yeah, they'll
I
be
didn't
like,
even say it first.
watch this, watch
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So you were out with Five Sauce.
Right.
There you go. But you were out with Chainsmokers and 5
Yeah.
Seconds of Summer. I mean, when you walked out on stage and saw that was kind of their audience, and they may not have known
Totally.
you, or they may have known you as like from a TV show.
Totally.
What was
or even the
going?
girl that sings on the Takeaway song. That was a big thing because I have the song with Chainsmokers.
Of course, yeah.
So
Huge
like
song.
that would be the other reason where they just know me as like that girl.
So how were you feeling when you went out and kind of looked at them? Was there any apprehension, any nervousness?
It's definitely different. The first opening tour I did was Anne Marie, which was in Europe. So that kind of gave me a taste, and it was on a smaller scale. And that kind of just let me put my toes in it. And then just like, obviously Chainsmokers is a completely different experience. That was like arenas and way, way different. But I don't know, it's cool. Like for me, I like, I don't know, I like the discomfort in a way. I feel like I like learned more than just like always being like walking out and like feeling very wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure, but that takes like an emotional maturity. Like the idea of like wanting. Like, of course, we can only grow through discomfort, but
Totally.
But I think it's the comfort we have that keeps us from growing. And
100%.
And in a situation like you were in, where things were going really well, you could have stayed comfortable for a really long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like that's just kind of how it's all played out. It's been so natural and like literally just like ended up on this TV show and then ended up like landing everything that's happened. It's just felt so like I haven't really had to like grind. So like this was in a way like I was like, okay, cool, like this isn't super comfortable at all times, and like it's not the most like, you know, I don't feel all the time that people are listening or like really are dying to like watch me right now. Which I think in a way like really makes me a better performer and like taught me so much about performing and just like figuring that world out too, because I just kind of got thrown into it and like in a way that I think is really beneficial.
If you don't mind me saying so, you seem kind of changed by it. Like you seem,
Do I?
yeah, you seem like you're coming
I
in
love
here
that.
with like a sort of a. Well, it was funny because when we talked, we were talking about you. It was sort of a like a not a what if, because I think things were on the way of working out and bad. It became such a really huge song,
Was the EP out at that point or just?
It was just about to come out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a while ago.
It was
Okay.
just the single was out.
Okay, cool.
And you were like, I think it's gonna work out. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's gonna be good. But like when I saw you today, I got the vibe of someone who like had been through something and had sort of accomplished something. Do you know what I mean by that?
I love that. I love that. That's really cool because I do actually feel that way subconsciously. I think in a way, like it didn't feel like it was like this like hard thing that I had to go through or anything, but like it's definitely a different world and like yeah, I definitely feel like I've like grown as a human throughout it for sure.
I mean, growing as a human is something I wanted to talk to you about because you put up a post recently that you talked about. I mean, you talked about your struggles with anxiety. You talked about the things that you've had to do to be able to help that. What made you want to open up that way?
What you're talking about when I did like Ask FMs or like the question things or whatever. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing with Instagram, like it's either like the best thing in the world or it's like, I don't know, it can be so toxic and so negative to be on. But I feel like if you use it in a way of like really connecting with people and like being transparent, which is like really what I'm trying to do, and I feel like is the most comfortable for me to do, it's just, I don't know, I feel like you can be so close with people. You're literally just like talking to everyone. And also, I don't know, it's just a cool way to be able to show different sides of myself and not just like use it for posting selfies.
I know,
It's also fun.
but when I saw that photo of you you put up a photo of yourself meditating that I remember
Oh my gosh,
seeing.
with Ocean.
Yeah.
She was fully meditating with me though. Did you see Ocean?
Who's Ocean?
My dog. She was literally like this. I swear. Like you need to watch that video again and make note of Ocean.
I really wasn't paying too much attention to Ocean.
Because I was thinking.
I'll keep an eye out for Ocean. I was just kind of being moved by the fact that you were like taking time for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like on the way here, like it's Bell Let's Talk Day in Canada today. So like I was like posting stuff about mental health on the way here.
Yeah.
And I felt really kind of funny about it. Like I felt like, oh God, am I sharing too much or is this I don't think so. What is this gonna do to me? But I think that with someone like you, when you post up something like that, whether you're meditating, whether you're talking about anxiety or something like that, it's also a way of like your fans getting to. You're kind of able to help them because they see you in a certain way. Right?
I think literally that's the thing is we're all human. We all feel human things, and I really don't think there's anybody on planet Earth who doesn't have those feelings at some point. And I think it's just so important to be transparent. And even if you don't want to, then that's fine. But I'm such an open book, and I enjoy that. Like I feed off of that energy. So for me, I think it's so important, and I don't think there's such thing as oversharing, really.
When we were talking last time, you were talking a lot about like growing up, essentially like in a cabin in the woods, like
literally so hillbilly.
Such a hillbilly, listening to
was.
Huey Lewis records and stuff like that. And I could tell even then that it was really important to you that even as things happened to you on the television show, as things happened to you with you and your sister, that it was important for you to stay grounded. But then since I've spoken to you, things have gotten even bigger, and they've gotten bigger in a sphere that's outside of country music, right? Mm-hmm. Country music is something that I think gives a lot of opportunities to be grounded. Totally. So as you sort of entered this other sphere, what have you had to do to kind of take care of yourself?
I mean, I think coming from where I've come from, which is like a very musical family and a very like, my parents are like, doesn't get more humble and like hippie hillbilly than they are. Like they're just so human. And I think coming from that and like being on the TV show and like, which is a very like, again, like the country and like root is it's about that. It's like humble and just like thankful and grateful. And like, that's just what it is. So I think coming from that and like having that be like just kind of what I'm building off of, like I feel much more stable going into the world of like pop and things are just way more shiny and like just you can get sucked into it really fast. And I think coming from where I come from and like having this like background and like stability of like my family being so grounded, I feel like it'll just forever stay in me no matter like where I venture, Can
we talk about this new album of yours, which had a very interesting announcement?
My pregnant.
Can you tell the story?
I mean, I just, that's what it feels like. I feel like I'm having an album baby. And
you put up a post on the internet that said, "I'm pregnant."
I'm pregnant. ... With
a new album
baby. Yeah, I am. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm like about to burst. I'm so excited for it to be out and just have just this part of me in the world. I can't wait.
Tell me a little bit about it. What are you writing about on this record? What are you singing about?
I mean, it's kind of a bit of everything. I feel like, again, like with an album, having it one just be more songs in general, but there's just more freedom, I think, to show different sides because there's so much space in it. There's like literally however many songs I want to put on it, and it's just there's more time to tell a story and to tell different parts of me, and not as much pressure to kind of like get it all in one song or get it all in a couple songs for an EP. Like there's just time to really have evolution throughout it. So I'm really singing about everything.
It's a little surprising. Like I'm into it, but it's a little surprising that you put it on an album at all. Because I just would have thought that like, as the internet has changed the way we consume music, like I grew up with albums, and because you grew up as a hippie in the woods in Ontario, I assume you had a bunch of Jim Croce and Huey Lewis LPs.
That's definitely. I mean, forever an album has been my dream, and no matter what generation, I'm like, it just needs to happen.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel so connected to the idea of an album. And it feels like literally more for me than for anyone else or even for my career. Like, and a lot of people in the industry will say that it just doesn't really matter. Like, singles are the only thing that matters. But I just really, really feel like for myself, like I just need to have that. Just that like embodiment of who I am. And then I can do singles and put stuff out and tell a story in a different way. But like for me, just to have an album and to have it on vinyl is so important. I just like want that. And then once I do that, then I'm like, okay, cool. I can explore other ideas. But it's just super important to me. It's always been like legit a dream of mine.
Last time we spoke about Bad, which I still think is like the coolest song.
Thanks.
Man, I got a kick out of that song, man. I play it on guitar a lot around the house.
I love that. It's a fun one on guitar.
It's a sad old song too, and I remember when you told me the story behind it, which if you're listening to this, you can kind of check in our archives about how you kind of spelled out the whole story of the song. And it was
a little more than I probably should have. When I watched back the interview, I was like, oh my gosh, I was very open.
Well, it was good.
No,
It was good. No one said any names. It was okay. Everything
totally fine.
Everything was all right. But it was about moving. It was about going through a really bad breakup. Mm-hmm. And so when I listened to Kissing Other People, when I listened to the new song, I mean that's about moving on past a breakup. Tell me a little bit about that song.
So that one started. I was doing a writing camp in Cabo, which was like it was such a dream. I had like all my favorite writers and producers, and they all just like
that's kind of like being in the woods in Ontario.
No, literally, it kind of was. It was just like we're all. I mean, it was definitely not in a lot of ways, but it was all my favorite writers, all my favorite producers. We all just like went and like vibed out for like 11 days. It was the best. And that song started because I was talking about just moving on and like how that feeling of like, I mean, there's a million things that go into moving on and there's a million different feelings that happen. But when you kiss someone else and it's just like you don't feel like you're cheating. You're just like moving on. And I just said that in passing. And then this girl, Caroline, who wrote it with me, she started that concept the next day. And we just rolled from that.
It's a pretty great song.
Thanks.
When we spoke last time also, again, like I felt like you were ready to embark on a kind of a new chapter of your career. Do you still feel like you have something to prove here?
I don't feel like I have anything to prove for anyone but myself. I feel like definitely feel like I need to prove something to myself.
What's that?
I don't know what it is, but I just have that feeling of like, more so just like wanting to like feel like I've completely like lived up to my expectations I have of myself, I guess. It's not even like, it's really not from anyone else, but it's like a pressure I put on myself for sure. But it's not like, I don't feel from anyone that I need to like prove anything. And I think that feeling, if it was coming from outside source, would like eat me alive, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yes. If I let that affect the music I made.
People do it all the time.
I know. No, I know. And it's like, I will never, because I can see how crippling it can be. But I definitely feel it for myself. But I think that's a good thing. Like, I will keep that there, that, like, pressure I feel.
Can I ask what the expectations you have for yourself are?
I mean, I just want to remain honest. I think I have such an obsession with, like, being true and, like, not letting other people get in the way of art, just in general, like, not only speaking about my own. And I think I don't know, for myself, like that's the most important thing to me. Like I want to know at the end of the day that like I did it because I love it and because I wanted to say something that meant something and that I believed, and I don't want to ever feel like it was anyone else like influencing me or changing me in any way. I think that's like the biggest thing I want to prove to myself.
And I mean, obviously you have a really great team behind you, but like you are in an industry where that can happen. Really, I'm sure you must see it all the time.
All the time. Yeah, it's very real. That's why I think that's actually the biggest thing that I need to like prove to myself is that I'm not gonna mold into that.
How do you do that?
Just honestly, just keep steering clear from it, and I guess in a way, and also like staying near people who are also like music lovers and who like really care about like the art and the truth behind it, like which is easy to do in Nashville.
Oh, yeah, I feel like this is a good town for that. I mean, I don't want to disparage Los Angeles because I love Los Angeles, but this feels like a place you can be closer to the.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, really,
it's easy.
We're in like
to.
a house right now. I mean,
and this is what it's like. That's why I live in Nashville, and I probably forever will. It just has that. It's easy to stay in that like very warm, welcoming environment here.
Hey, nice to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
Let's just do this once a year.
No, you're literally my favorite. You're the best.
Oh, come on. Get out of here.
Did I not say that? You're my favorite interviewer, I swear.
You're very nice. Thank you very much.
Best.
Thank you very much. I'm sure they're holding a sign behind you that says, please compliment
the best
Tom
interviewer.
at the end of this. Hey, thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thanks.